Welcome to Arbitrage Trade Analytics Sunday, February 23rd, 2020 seminar. I will be going over different things that are going on in the market right now, as well as explaining the arbitrage band system. If you guys have any questions for the people who are with us, please feel free to chime in or type in the chat box so we can answer your questions. The Forex market opens in about an hour, so we'll be looking at that as well. And I'll be showing you some of the new things that we added to the system as of this week. So please pay attention and take notes if you need to. All right, so starting off, we're looking at Ethereum. Ethereum has had quite a nice run. If you look at it on the daily, it crossed up over here. I'm going to turn on our show exits, which means we had an opportunity to buy as early as here when it was sitting at 137. It's now at 270, so basically 100% return since the very beginning of the year. Can't do better than that, truth be told. Right now, we're watching to see if it's at the end of its life. Did it go out of the system? We can turn on our deviations to see if we actually went out of bounds, and look like we did go out of bounds somewhere around the 13th or 14th. And typically how I play the system is if it hits the arrow to get me in, I do not leave the trade until these candles end inside the bands again. So I would have probably left here right at 283.43. It left at 284.17 was where I cashed out all of my Ethereum, and now I'm waiting for it to retest that line or get close to it. Likewise, if you were playing Bitcoin, Bitcoin had us get in roughly around 7,200, and it has already tested the line, bounced, and it's trying to make more room. We'll see if it actually can in the longer run. Going to go up to the weekly time frame. It's still in that upper danger zone. Basically, I'm turning on the danger zone so show what that does. The danger zone lets us know where that black line is in the system. So whenever it's in the very top, it's considered overbought. When it's in the very bottom, it's considered oversold. So up here, we're expecting it to turn around and go down. And when it's down here, we're expecting it to turn up and go back up. So it looks like it had a little bit of a down and then picked itself right back up. Now we're going to see if it can hold this line and continue up or come more down. I guess the next, a double bottom would be somewhere around 745 if it did decide to go back down. But if it decides to hold the line, Bitcoin somewhere around 91.65 will be the test to see if it's going to continue up. Okay, we're going to switch to a pair that I love to play with, Gbp Jpy. And it has been making quite a run since roughly, I want to say, November 11th of this year, and that week, and has been going nothing but up. So if you were able to get it when it said get in on the weekly chart, it was sitting at 139. You'd have over 5,000 pips at this point, and possibly more if you rode it all the way up to this apex over here. If you were playing it on a daily time frame, notice the long ride, and it had a little breather here, told you to get back in until it told you to get out here, and then it told you to get in just 3 days ago for another ride. So it was holding that black line. That black line acts as support, along with allowing us to see where the trend is, if it's oversold or overbought, whether we can get in for a new buy, or if it's gone too far too fast, then we can expect it to come down for a little bit before retesting and going back up again. Okay, so going from there, you can play the arbitrage band system on any time frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up arbitragetrade.com and show you guys a little bit of what we call our windows of opportunity. The windows of opportunity basically lets us know how long we can expect to be in the trade or not. So since we are playing on the daily time frame and we're using the arbitrage band, which is our smallest band in the system, if we go up to the daily time frame, this is a 1 to 3 month trade. And Gbp Jpy basically proved that by going from October, November, December, and it was going up, and it's been sideways for the last month in this 145-ish range, and it's hovering, and it went down for just a little bit, and now it's going back up in a little bit. But for the most part, it has been going sideways. The windows of opportunity lets us plan how much time we want to be in the market. For example, if you're wanting to only play 1 to 2 hours at a time, you could play on the minute chart, and basically, if you're using the arbitrage band, you're expecting to be in the trade anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. So I'm going to go to the minute chart to show you that. So this is a trade that if you were playing a sell, it roughly said at 15:20, which is 3:20 p.m. Central Standard Time, all the way until the market closed at 4. That was a 40-minute trade. You were on the minute chart, but you could have played that. You could have likewise played from this 257 all the way until this 15:20, which is another 40 or so minutes or 20 or so minutes of trading. On the minute chart, you're not going to get large percentages, but you will be able to, if you only have a limited amount of time to trade, you'll be able to trade that and basically go do whatever else you want to do. We never try to tell you how to trade. We only give you windows of opportunity to play and play comfortably so you can have good expectations of when your money needs to be in the market or when you can be used in someplace else to make profit. Okay? Let's see. Another pair that I've been watching, actually, let's do this. If you guys are new to the system and you've never used the system before and you are trying to trade it with Forex, we've recently added a bunch of new features to the system. One of them is when you click on the Forex, we have a heads up map on here that actually shows you if the pair is ready to be traded on any time frame. Along with that are alerts and stuff that will be coming in this upcoming week, where we'll be connecting the alerts that you would normally see in TradingView to the website. So, for example, if you want to play all the G pairs, you literally just scroll down to all the G's and say add to watch list. So all these guys literally get added to your watch list, and then all the alerts that are associated with them wind up there. And then when you go to your Wall Street page, you'll see everything that you selected right here in your heads up display. So literally you can say, okay, if I'm looking for a sell short term, I have one that's setting up for AUD CAD and one for the Great British Pound versus the Hong Kong dollar on the minute chart if I want to play something quick, or if I want to play something that's more longer term. GBP AUD is setting up for a longer term trade on the 4-hour chart, and then you just go to the windows of opportunity to expect how long you're going to be in there, right? So, for example, on that one, if I'm using the advanced band and I'm on the 4-hour chart, that's roughly a day. So this is going to be a 3 to 6 month trade. So if I went to GBP AUD, I should see on the 4-hour, and I'm going to turn the band to be the Apocalypse band. We should see that he's sitting way up there at the top, and he's been riding. So we've ridden a very long, from the very beginning of September all the way till now, a very long, wow, that's a lot of pips. That's literally almost 1,600 pips from the bottom all the way up to the top up there. Excuse me. All right. So now we're waiting for this sell to set up so we can ride it literally equally as long all the way down and not have to worry about it, so we can go live our lives, have our daytime jobs, and not have to worry about babysitting the trend. Likewise, if you are trading stocks, Stocks have the same ability. For example, I'm looking at Amazon, and on the daily, Amazon is setting up for a sell-off. And we see that because it's red, and we only have the daily here because we're slowly integrating the intraday, which is the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and 2 hour data sets into the page, just like the Forex pairs. So if we were to go and look at Amazon, notice there's also a legend. So the apocalypse band is in the upper danger zone. The arbitrage band is not quite ready. So that means a sell is setting up, but it's not absolutely perfect just yet. It's getting there. So let's go look at that. Apocalypse band, AMZ. So we're looking at Amazon. We're going to go to the daily. And you see that pink line that can't leave the band is literally riding up there. And I'm going to add a second band so we can actually see the arbitrage band to see how close the arbitrage band is to giving it back up. And notice he went out of bounds. So basically this guy is trying to get back to this black line, which is a test of roughly 1942. And before it's all over, I think we may test as far, wow, that's quite the fall, somewhere around the 1400 level before the end of this year is over. If it finds support, we should see support somewhere around 1969, which is not that far away. That's basically $130 from where we are. And if it breaks through that, somewhere around 1766, which is where it's been hovering most of last year. So if you notice all of last year, it was roughly in this range. So you can see it returned to that range and tried to build up more support to be able to lift off once again. Apple looks like it has already done its sell-off. Oh no. Wow. So he's riding, but he's sustaining. Notice it's been up and nothing has told us to sell just yet. But assuming, I'm going to turn off the apocalypse band real quick and go back to just the arbitrage band to talk about some of the mechanics of the system. We only get exits when our entrances so that the red and green triangles that appear only happen when that blue line, which is our compass, so I'm going to turn off momentum, so the compass line is the main one that's showing there, and turn off the deviation so we're only concentrating on what we really need to see right now. I'm going to even turn off the candle colors. So only when the blue line crosses over the black line, that's when we get our entry for the system. And once again, when the blue line crosses underneath the black line, that's when we get our sell signal. Apple has had quite a nice run from $200 all the way to $300 in this 4 to 5 month trade and trend. Basically, you've had a 50% return if all you did was hold it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is beautiful. That's how I intend the system to be played. Some people like to play faster. Please feel free to play faster. There were tons of micro trends. So I went down to the 15-minute, which is the default setting. So there were tons of micro trends and even large micro trends. So I'm going to turn off the arbitrage band once again, and we'll see where it told us to get in roughly at 261 and get out at 315. Nothing wrong with that. And the ride previous to that was get in at 220 and get out at 263. Once again, nothing wrong with that. You had about a 2-month trade followed by another 2-month trade. Not bad, especially if all you had to do was get that one signal and one alert to get you in and one alert to get you out. Some people, like I said, like to play faster, but if even at the 15 minutes, this was a 2-month trade, but you were using the biggest band. Okay, let's see. Inside of arbitrage, we try to make this as easy as possible, meaning inside our filters, we actually have the ability to say, because I know where that pink line is, and because I know in the arbitrage band where that black line is, and because I know what we have these danger zones to tell us if it's overbought or oversold, I can literally go here and say, you know what? I'm going to go to my indicator filters, go to any time frame I want. So for example, if I go to the 15-minute, which is our default for our alerts, you have the ability to say, okay, I want to play something that's short term. So basically it tells you, okay, AUDZ and ALDZ is for the arbitrage, upper danger zone and lower danger zone. So if I'm playing any Forex pairs, we have about 86 that are represented here. If I literally just type the word yes on the 15-minute chart, 10 of these guys are set up to enter a buy in the very near future. Looks like it's the US dollar versus a lot of stuff. So we may have a rally first thing going into the 4 o'clock hour based on just a short time push. Okay. So I'm going to go pick one of these. So I'm going to pick the US dollars versus the NOK. So USD NOK. And I'm going to go to, oh, that's Norwegian. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Norwegian krone. Pardon me. And we see 15-minute chart, just as we type the word yes, that black line is sitting in that lower danger zone. So we're literally waiting for it to give us an alert to say go buy. So adding these guys to our watch list is really easy. So if you were to, for example, click on this guy, it should bring up a page for this guy. The only thing you have to do to actually add them to your list to be watched, to get the alert on the website, is literally, it's a one-button click. And then all the alerts that you have set, it will automatically send to you. If you're not using just a website, if you're also participating in the community, you would go to your room and you would just say watch USD _NOK, and now you'll be watching it and waiting for it to give you an alert to buy or to sell. So yeah, it's like I say, it's really easy. Just type in the word yes. Don't just buy. You can add them to your watch list, and then once they're on your watch list, just wait for the alert to buy, and you can go verify it with TradingView to make sure that everything is where it should be. And if it is, ride the trend and wait for it to give you another alert. Let's see. This is true on any time frame along with those colors. For the people who are doing the daily, I'm going to switch gears just slightly. That's our winners report. I actually was trying to get to the intraday filter. In the intraday filter, basically, once again, this is for people who are playing stocks. It takes the S&P 500 and all the stocks that are on the S&P 500, along with every single stock that is under $15, makes this list so we can see short term what's available to play. So if I typed in yes right here, there are over 202 stocks that are ready to play. But if I don't want to have to babysit it, I will type yes again here, and that's saying, okay, both long-term and short-term, which means it's pretty much both the apocalypse band and the arbitrage band are in the lower danger zone, and a buy signal is received. So we're waiting to see if that is the case. So for example, how I would normally sort this, I believe strongly in multipliers. So basically, for example, and I do this on a regular basis, I will spend, or I have a cash account that sits around $18,000. And in that $18,000 account, I will buy up to 3 stocks and try to buy at least 1,000 of them. So that means at most I would spend about $6,000 on a particular stock, but I bought 1,000 of them, which means every time it moves a penny, I make $10. So for example, I would try to find, I'm going to bring it up to show all 100. They're only 53. So I would try to find a stock that would be between the $3 and $6 range, because if it's at $3 range, I can buy 2,000, and basically every time it moves a penny, I make $20. And see if I can actually find something that's going to make me make as much money as possible with the least amount of risk in the shortest amount of time. So I'm going to go look at RNet and see what that guy looks like. All right. And he's already literally the last 30 minutes of the day, he jumped a little. So he already has the buy signal. He jumped from 311 to 326. I am not in this, but I really wish I would have been, because once again, if I would have had my 6K in there, it jumped 12 to 14 pennies, which means I should be up at least $140 to $160 for a 30-minute ride. It becomes very easy once you have enough money in your account and that you can use a multiplier to make your trading easier. But all of these opportunities show up on all of the intraday filters, whether it's Forex, whether it's stocks, whether it's going to be mutual funds or cryptocurrency. Every 15 minutes, they're constantly updating on the site to give you that clarity to be able to buy or to sell. So we said yes and yes for RNet, and it's true that the black line is sitting at the bottom and the pink line is sitting at the bottom of the apocalypse band. So if I'm trying to set price targets for this, my first price target, if I would have actually gotten this at 311, it getting to $4, I'm already up 33%, which means I've already made $2,000 on my $6,000. If it makes it to 5 something, I'm sitting up at 60%. So I made basically $4,000 on my $6,000. And if it actually makes it to the very top of the band, I've doubled my money and I'm going on to my next trade. And if you recall, windows of opportunity, right? So if I'm using the windows of opportunity and I'm on the 15-minute chart, this is a 3 to 15 day trade. Who wouldn't want to double their money within 3 to 15 days? Least I'll do is 33%. Most I'll do is a 400% return. Count me in. It's really that easy. And there were 53 to choose from. So there's not much guessing that goes along with it. Just type the yes and type the yes. And then once you have them all, put them in your price range and just go with the flow. Add them to your watch list. Ask questions. We have an entire staff of people in both Slack and on Facebook, in the Facebook group. If you have questions, please ask, like, hey, is this setup looks good or not? And we can tell you, we can give you analysis and chart screenshots and everything to make sure that you understand why it is a good setup or why it is a bad setup. And typically what happens is, because there's so many of you guys playing on both stock and Forex side, you guys are actually showing us more opportunities that other people can play. So basically, by you asking questions, you're actually giving back to the community more, and the community gets a little bit more of an education with every single trade that we do. Okay? We're now at the 30-minute mark. Does anyone have any questions before I go on? You can unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat. Either way you want to do it. Sure. Someone asked me to talk about the multipliers just a little bit more. And so say, for example, in the Forex market, there's something called lot size, which basically determines how many you get for every time it moves a pip, right? So if you have a 3 lot size, then basically you get 3 pennies or 3 pips for every one that it moves. That's the same thing in the regular U.S. stock market. So, for example, if I bought 1 share of GREK, it costs me $9.03. So every time it moves a penny, I make a penny. That's easy. So if I buy 100 shares of GREK, every time it moves a penny, I make $1, because for each share that I make a penny off of that share. And if I have 100 shares equals 100 pennies, which equals $100, right? So I can say, for example, the same math that I did for RNet, right? If I would have bought GREK, let's go look at that, Kai. And he's set up in the same type of situation. Then it becomes a value proposition, meaning that I can spend the 6K to tie up to be able to buy roughly maybe I think it's 1,500 shares, or maybe hold on, no. So basically 600 or so shares of this guy, which means at max, every time it moves a penny for that 6,000, I'm going to make roughly $6 per penny. Or if I was on a $3 stock, I would make up to $30 per penny, and I'd have because I'd have 1,000 shares, not 600. So does it make sense for me to go from $9 to $9.40, and I'm only basically making $6? So I'd make $240 from here to here because I only have 600 shares. And if it makes it all the way up to $10, then roughly I would have made $600 on the trade. Or does it make sense to, okay, me doubling my money, my 6,000 becomes 12,000 in the same 3 to 15 day time window? It's basically you're deciding how you want to spend your money in the shortest duration. And basically you want the strongest number or the most number of shares that you can buy with the amount of money that you're putting down. So like I said, if I had $6,000 and I had to pick between GREK, which is going to give me $1, which is roughly, it's a little bit over 12% return, versus that same 6,000 has the potential to give me another 100%, I would definitely do RNet over GREK because my time that I'm going to be in the market, it's definitely worth more to me on the with the smaller stock than the larger. Did that answer your question sufficiently? Okay, perfect. All right. Can you walk through ways to find the setups again? Sure thing. Forex side or stock side? Okay, Forex. Got it. All right. So on the Forex side, say, for example, I want a bird's eye view, right? So a bird's eye view, you have two ways to do this. So right now, since there are so few, like versus the U.S. stock side, there are 8,700 plus stocks that are in the U.S. stock market currently, and then close to 30,000 mutual funds. Forex pairs, there's only about 200, and we're only covering about 86 of the most prevalent, right? So if I just literally click on the word Forex, if I'm logged into the site, it literally shows me a bird's eye view of who may be ready to buy or sell when all analysis has already been done and it's completely color coded for you, right? So like, for example, anything bright red, like for example, CHF ZAR, that's an exotic, but he's saying on the hourly, he is definitely ready to go. So let's go look at him real quick. Go to the hourly chart. Yeah, he's already tripped the arbitrage band saying a sell is already in progress. So for the longer term trade, once again, first target is the pink line, which is at 1523, which means that's about 10 pips. Going down to here, that's about 40 or so. Going down to there, that's about 60 or so pips on the hourly, which is great if that's how you're playing. It also depends on your lot size. So you can actually change your lot size to make those 60 pips do a lot of stuff for you, whether it's pip for pip or 3 or 5 or 10, however your lot size is, to make it work for you to get what you want, right? So this is the bird's eye view. So like, for example, like I said, if there's anything that you want to watch, just literally go watch, and go down the list and pick what you want. And then if there's anything that you don't want, like for example, I decide I don't want all of these pairs because for one reason or another, the G's have gotten into my head and I can't do GBP's CAD for whatever reason, so I don't want to watch anymore. I just remove it from my watch list. Oh, that's a bug. The button's bigger than the other ones. But we'll fix that. And on my Wall Street, only the ones that I'm watching would show up here. And then if I'm looking for a particular time frame, like for example, if I'm trying to scalp, right? If I'm trying to scalp, the first place I'll look is the 15-minute chart under Forex, right? I had the bird's eye view to see on the 15-minute chart, are any of them getting ready for a sell? If I'm looking for a sell on the 15-minute, there are a few that are getting close to a sell. It looks like gold is setting up for a sell on the 15-minute chart. Literally, just by scrolling, I'm just scrolling the 15-minute to see if anything is ready for me, right? So this is saying basically it's getting ready for the sell. So if I do XAU, which makes sense because all the USD said that they're about to go up, which means if gold is going up, the dollar's probably going down, and that makes sense. So we're looking here and we see that he is literally just about to trip that sell. And so very easily you can see by colors if it's ready or if it's not ready, and you literally just add to your room to get the alert. If you are on Slack and you don't know about this room, you should definitely learn about this room. There is a Forex room. In the Forex room, basically, there are alerts that are set, and people actually give their trades and show what they're doing and how they're doing it, as well as show, like if there are problems with the site, people are giving feedback, as well as alerts for any of the pairs that you want. So if you're not in the Forex room, definitely join the Forex room. Some people have said, okay, I want to watch crypto, and they watch crypto in their room, and then the weekend comes and crypto is not alerting because the rooms basically were doing maintenance and stuff over the weekend. So we have the ability you can actually join Pound 15 Crypto, and this guy is on at all times. So if anything's happening with crypto, it's literally letting you know throughout the day that it's happening. So and we have those for the different sectors. There are even some for, I want to say, let's see. Yeah, there are even some for marijuana stocks and other industrial, basically, whichever sector you want to play in, there are rooms and stuff. As long as they begin with a pound, you can actually go, let me see. You can actually go at the channel and then just start, if you type in pound or 15. Oh, I'm creating, sorry. I'm not wanting to create. I'm wanting, I just clicked. And then if I type in 15, it shows all of the different channels that they have that you may not know about that could be very beneficial if you're trading stocks or Forex, depending on what you're trading. Okay? So we have the ability to set up our alerts in our rooms. Everyone should have a room. If you do not have a room and you should have a room, please let me know. We do not use Forex Factory for news. We typically use Awanda for our news. But if that is something that you guys are wanting, we can definitely look at and see how much it costs for us to do that, to maybe be able to supply that in the future. We are also looking at ways, because in the very near future, we've actually already started adding pieces to the site. If you go to your profile, we have new alert settings. So basically, just like you set your alerts in TradingView, I'm going to go over that real quick. And then there's trading automation. So if you have a broker for the Forex side or for the stock side that you want to use, please let us know as soon as possible so we can actually try to put it on our roadmap to try to serve you better. And the alerts that are coming, basically, I'm going to go back to TradingView and show you how to set up the alerts. All of these indicators, so far I've only shown you two. All of the indicators on TradingView for all of our indicators have alerts built into them. So if you have a TradingView account, to see the bands, you can take advantage of the fact that, for example, if I'm using the arbitrage band, I can say, okay, I want to go long or I want to go short. I'm going to now turn off these guys, and I'm going to turn on Atlas. Atlas is the arbitrage band's best friend, if not alter ego. The Atlas lets us simplify the system to a very, very simple yes or no. If it's green, I should be in. If it's red, I shouldn't be. So basically, it takes all of the extra guessing and stuff out of the system. If it's ever red, you don't want to be there. Some people asked us to add show exits, and we did. So when the blue line crosses over the black line, even though it's no longer on the screen, you still get those triangles, because if you were trading by those triangles, it's still here. Atlas is meant to be like a road map or atlas, where basically you have all the mile markers, everything that you want to see, all of the sites along the way, but they're all in one indicator. So basically, once you have the atlas, you can use it and it alone if you want, or if you want to see what's going on, the mechanics underneath, you can. But if all you care about is green or red, then green or red it is. We even have catered to the idea. You see this higher high right here, right? So in alerts, right, I can say, okay, Atlas is on. I want to alert on a higher high. So if I'm in the trade, the only trick to these alerts, TradingView, because the data is constantly changing, you have to set once per bar close. If you do that, then you're good, because basically it will only alert you if the candle has closed and it's marked at higher high. Otherwise, it won't alert you. So typically on a 15-minute chart, that means basically you have to wait for this 15-minute candle to be over before you get that higher high alert. But that's for us to verify that it actually is going to stay a high high, because TradingView repaints all the time. We want to make sure that the alert that you get is good, and when you go to verify it, or if you acted upon the alert that you got from our system, that when you go to check it, you actually can see what it alerted on. And that's just basically to make you understand and see that this is real time, but it can be up to 15 minutes if you're on a 15-minute chart for you to get that alert to say, yes, it did end at a higher high. But you do have the ability to, looking at Atlas, you can set other things like the buy entry and exit. So those red triangles and green triangles, so that's a sell entry, right? Or if you just want to say, okay, Atlas turned green, okay, buy trend, the background turned green. Basically, we try to give you conservative as well as aggressive. So the band turning green may not have necessarily tripped an arrow yet. Notice it went green on this candle, but then another candle had to go by before it actually said, yes, we got confirmation and we're going to go with it. So basically, we're trying to allow you to be as aggressive or as conservative as you'd like to be when trading the system. It just makes it easier to understand if we give you several entries, so that way you pick how you want to play. Some people even play without the triangles at all. They are playing what we call micro trends. And micro trends are exactly what they said, since this is an atlas, right? Some people literally play from green to pink, green to pink. And say, for example, you see this lovely green trend that's been going on, and you weren't here when the green arrow went off, right? So you weren't here. You weren't signed up for arbitrage at the time, or you were just on at work, whatever. And you're like, okay, is it too late to get in? It's never too late to get in. You can basically jump in under these higher lows and keep riding. And if you ever need to take profit at the higher highs, and then wait for the next higher low or lower low to tell you, oh, this is another opportunity to get right back in the trend. Right? So there's a lower low, there's a lower high. And basically all along the way, there are micro trends to help you manage your trend and help manage your trade. Likewise, if you decide, okay, I'm going to play at the daily time frame, you can still use these micro trends to say, okay, don't just jump in If you see it still green, literally always wait for it to confirm that that's a higher low or a lower low, and then you can jump in and ride the rest of the way. It makes it easier, and you basically your confidence builds faster if you wait for the trend as opposed to just jumping in because no one likes to be wrong. And a lot of people just jump in, but we heavily, and strongly suggest that you wait for either your higher high or higher low to get in. And if you're trying to take profit, and I only, like, truth be told, I only have on higher highs or higher lows or lower highs when I am looking for an exit. So most of the time, I'm playing like this. But once there's so much money and I've made so much, if I'm looking for a spot, that's when I'll turn them on like, oh, okay, somewhere in the next 4 to 5 candles, I'm looking to jump out. And then I will turn on my show highs. And it's like, oh, there's a spot. Oh, there's a spot. And if I'm looking for somewhere to get out of gold because it might be turning, and I've been able to ride this whole last ride, I literally am looking for that higher high on my higher time frame to give me that notification. All right. Does anyone else have anything else that they would like me to answer while I am here? Well, if no one else has any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, we're always working on and making new changes and stuff for the system. Going to give you one more update. We are still working on the insurance, and we had one more meeting with our providers, and we're actually making some traction. So that should be coming in the very, very near future. We're expecting before the end of the month, we may actually have full-fledged insurance and stuff for anyone who may need or want it. All right. See you guys next week. Have a good one.